We recognize it's a dangerous world. I know this nation still has enemies, and we cannot expect them to be idle. And that's why security is my first responsibility, and I will not permit any course that leaves America undefended.
I was sufficiently frustrated that I asked to be reassigned. And I thought, if the administration doesn't believe its national coordinator for counterterrorism when he says there's an urgent problem, and if it's unprepared to act as though there's an urgent problem, then probably I should get another job.
You then write a letter or a memo on September the 4th to Dr. Rice expressing some of these frustrations. You urge policymakers to imagine a day after hundreds of Americans lay dead in a home or abroad after a terrorist attack and ask themselves what else they could have done. You write this on September the 4th, 7 days before September 11th.
That's right.
I was sitting outside the classroom waiting to go in, and I saw an airplane hit the tower of a TV. You know, TV was obviously on, and I used to fly myself, and I said, well, there's one terrible pilot.
Would you please stand and recognize the President?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you? I'd also like you to meet the Secretary of Education and the Lieutenant Governor of Florida. We met, didn't we? Good to meet you all. Hi.
And this is Daniel.
I'm his name. Great to meet everybody.
Eric? What are you doing? Eric? Where were you when you first learned a plane had struck the World Trade Center?
Well, I was in my office Tuesday morning. Monday, I'd been in Kentucky, and the president had been in the White House. Tuesday, our roles were sort of reversed. He was in Florida, and I was in the White House Tuesday morning. And a little before 9, my speechwriter came in. We were going to go over some speeches coming up. And my secretary called in just as we were starting to meet, just before 9 o'clock, and said an airplane had hit the World Trade Center. That was the first one that went in. So we turned on the television and watched for a few minutes, and then actually saw the second plane hit the World Trade Center. And as soon as that second plane showed up, that's what triggered the thought terrorism.
You sensed it immediately. This is deliberate.
Yeah. I'd given word to Andy Card's staff, who's right next door, to get hold of Andy and or the president, and I wanted to talk to him as soon as they could hook it up.
Sound it makes. Get ready. Hi. Yes, hi. Get ready to read.
You're not going to believe what state I was in when I heard about the terrorist attack. I was in Florida. And my chief of staff, Andy Card, well, actually I was in a classroom talking about a reading program that works. And I was sitting outside the classroom waiting to go in, and I saw an airplane hit the tower of a TV. You know, TV was obviously on, and I used to fly myself, and I said, well, there's one terrible pilot. And I said it must have been a horrible accident. But I was whisked off there. I didn't have much time to think about it. I was sitting in the classroom, and Andy Card, my chief of staff, was sitting over here, walked in and said, a second plane has hit the tower. America's under attack. I was thinking about what it meant for America to be under attack. It was an amazing thought.
Thank you. Everybody touch the title of your story. Fingers under the title. Get ready to read the title, The Fast Way. We're waiting for one member.
I think you have to ask yourself why somebody would do what he does.
Get ready. Go, cat, go. Yes, the cats go. Fingers under the first word.
I had realized there on the ground in Florida we were under attack.
Go, cat, go.
don't know what's happening. We don't know by who. We don't know how many additional planes are coming. We don't know what all is planned for us at that point. We'd have been absolute fools not to go into button-down mode and leave us leaderless in a moment of crisis.
And we believed that we would be attacked many more times that day.
Let's clean that up.
I needed to know what the facts were. But I knew I needed to act. I knew that if the nation's under attack, the role of the commander-in-chief is to respond forcefully to prevent other attacks from happening.
Try that again. Get ready.
Immediately following the first attack, I implemented our government's emergency response plans. Our military is powerful, and it's prepared.
Try that again. Get ready.
I gave our military the orders necessary to protect Americans, do whatever it would take to protect Americans.
What's behind the word said? And what does that comma mean? Let's read that sentence.
When something like this happens, and we've got certain obligations and responsibilities you've got to carry out, and those took priority. They did for the president, so they did for me.
They have roused a mighty giant.
That word. Sound it out. What word? Start from the beginning of that sentence. Go on. Go on.
He made some key decisions that were very important to the operation.
Let's read that sentence again. Go on.
What's the most important decision you think he made?
I suppose the toughest decision was this question of whether or not we would intercept incoming commercial aircraft. It doesn't do any good to put up combat air patrol if you don't give them instructions to act if in fact they feel it's appropriate.
Go on.
And the President of the United States' most solemn responsibility is to keep this country secure.
Let's go.
Must be 6
From the beginning. Fingers on the...
Where there is suffering, there is duty. A president himself must be responsible. That's exactly right. Ooh, these are great readers.
Yes, they are.
Very impressive. Thank you also very much for showing me your reading skills. I bet they practice it, don't you?
Oh, yes. That's a requirement. Homework. Reading homework.
Reading more than they watch TV?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Everybody do that? You read more than you watch TV? Oh, that's great. Really good. Very good way to practice. Thanks for having me. Very impressive. Read this book.
What's in those closure readers? Place them under your chairs. And thank you so much.
Anyway, it was an interesting day.
The President of the United States was flown from Florida to a secure Air Force base in Louisiana, where he appeared before cameras. He's now airborne again. And I don't know of another time in American history when we've said this, but he is aloft in Air Force One, and his destination right now is unknown.